Hi, everyone. The next half hour is titled Teen Talk. My name is Levi New, and my wife and I run the Youth Action Movement, which is a teen division at the MTC. With me are my dear friends and colleagues, Rabbi Levi Raskin, C-Team at Chabad CSL, and Rabbi Ariel Stern, J-Teens at Chabad Westmount. The way we're going to do this is, we're going to have four sections, 4 topics/questions. I'll introduce them, and then we're going to have a little discussion about those things, each sharing a small point or two related to that issue, and then we'll get on to the next topic. So let's begin with the first thing. Number 1, are teens important? Question mark. What makes them important? How do we nurture their sense of value? You want to get us started off?
Yeah. Teens are the future generation. Teens are not too young. Teens are not too old. It's a great time to choose their destiny, to choose their path in their connection and their relationship to Hashem. Sometimes teens go through challenges. They rebel. They have difficult times. But that comes because they're seekers. They want. And if we can channel their energy in the path of connecting to Hashem, connecting to Torah mitzvot, they come in with such motivation and such aggressiveness into Yiddishkeit that it's admirable.
Because then teens just have this innate sense of energy.
Yeah.
And instead of trying to fight it, we channel it in a healthy direction, and you'll see beautiful results.
Yeah.
We also see, to add on the Ariel, we also see that by the rabbi, teenagers are something extremely important. They have so much energy, and by channeling it to the right direction, and teenagers want to know the truth. So first of all, when I look at a teenager, I look at somebody that has a tremendous amount of energy and a tremendous amount of power, someone that can make a difference in the world. At the same time, somebody looking for truth, and somebody that's, like Ariel said, seeking truth. And that's what we have to give them, and that's how we have to look at them, like people that have a lot of energy and really want to know what is the emet. Maybe what's your thoughts?
I like this, you have lots of energy. You have that combined with search for the truth. So really, the collision creates a perfect opportunity to try to inculcate growth and move forwards. I'll come with the question from a little bit of a different angle.
If you don't mind me interrupting you, also though, it's very interesting where the central organizations of Chabad, Merkez Linyani Chinuch, Tzira Agudas Chabad, it's always a reference point of youth, young, education, and I find this very, very something mind-boggling, that it's not. You said it's a specific division within MTC, a specific division within Chabad CSL, but it's something much more general.
Right. It's funny you say that because I was actually thinking about earlier. There's a video clip of this. I think it's a reporter out of Fabringen, and he comes to them to start talking to him. I think he's even taking pictures, and Never tells him, "Better you should look at the crowd. Look at the young people here. Better look at them, because you see the energy in there." But just to come back to what we're talking about, harnessing teens' energy and that search for truth, I'm going to turn it around a bit and talking to teens, but also talking to parents of teens, because it's something we get all the time, which is, I give my teens everything. I give them everything they want. How come they still don't like me? How come I still can't engage with them? Everything they want, I give them. And I think there's a lot to be said to unpack this question, and time is not a lot for us to go through all of it. I'm sure you guys get the same questions all the time. But I think one way of approaching this is to consider that teens don't need more stuff. They're not looking for more stuff. So even if they verbalize and say, "Mom, Dad, I want this," maybe they do want it for that little bit. Maybe they don't want it. Maybe there's peer pressure that's making them want it. But it's not what they really want. What they really want is for them to feel valued, because they are valued. It's a transition state, right? When you're talking about going from a child to becoming an adult. So when you're a child, you're being taken care of. So your needs are being met by everybody else. And then as a team, you start to look and think of, well, what's my contribution to the world? And as soon as you provide, instead of giving the child more things to have, provide the child opportunity to give back something, and all of a sudden you'll see the blossom. I believe both of you guys have, at least for me, I know our most successful programs are volunteering.
Yeah.
And it's a very simple thing, because now all of a sudden, and they're not on their phones the whole time, like you'd imagine, they're not on the phones the whole time. They're not doing that whole thing that parents get upset about, why they're on the phones the whole time, how come they don't want to talk? When they're volunteering, their eyes are up, they're talking, they're engaging, because now they feel like they've been given a space where they can contribute, not just be on the receiving end, like they were told now as children, without actually giving something. So as soon as you shift their focus, instead of trying to give your children or teens more stuff and give them opportunities where they can be givers, you're going to see them grow and flourish and blossom in major ways. Ask them for their opinion, for example. It's not through teaching things. Ask them for their opinion.
Right.
What do you think about something? And you'll be surprised at the.
They're not only seen, they're also heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's been my experience with engaging with teens.
We also see that the Rebbe encouraged very much really young teenagers at the age of bar mitzvah to start going to do miftzayim,
Right.
to start going to with other people, to speak to other people about
Right.
Judaism, to make them leaders, to make them already give them responsibilities.
Yeah.
And we see it with our teen programs too, that when we give a teen a responsibility, they react to it very well. And there's something very important that we have to give our children responsibility, leadership, to take roles, to take responsibilities, if it's in the family, if it's in the community.
Yeah.
And it helps the teenager gear their energy to the right place.
That's right. Yeah.
But the Rebbe really, I was reading a story about how a teen was writing to the Rebbe, and Rabbi Chadakov, the Rebbe's secretary, said that sometimes within 2 hours, the Rebbe answered this teen. And the Rebbe really didn't, once upon a time, teens were a concept of seen but not heard, when you come to shul. So let the adults sit inside and push the kids or the teens outside, they should not interrupt us. But I feel by having the teens and having the kids in shul with such, even if you have to shush them because they're talking, but that motivation that they have coming to shul, there's life. And life has to be channeled in the right direction. And today you see, the youngest people have the most influence. Social media, so many, they have so much to give over.
I just want to add something on that point, is that a lot of times teens don't feel satisfied, fulfilled. And I saw once a letter of the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, that he writes that a day is full of dark, we live in a world which is full of dark and light. And the way to bring in light into the dark world is by making sure that every day we do something for someone else. That's how we bring in light into our life and in our day. So when we do get our teenagers to actually think for others, do for others, physically or spiritually, it brings a lot of satisfaction to the teen, brings the teen happiness. And all the mood of the teen changes. The mood of the teen, boy or girl, changes to a much more positive mood.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next subject, are teens comfortable with the idea that we are a chosen nation? How do teens deal with that feeling? What should it mean to them? What does it mean to them? Should it mean something to them? You want to start us off?
Okay. So from one hand, there's some teens that do get shied away from it. We're calling ourselves the chosen nation. It sounds a little bit contradicting of what we teach to be humble. And all of a sudden we're saying that we are the chosen nation and we're very proud of ourselves to be the chosen nation. And we say, be proud to be Jewish and be proud to be chosen. So teens do have this question all the time. It makes them feel very uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes they know it, they believe it, but they feel uncomfortable. And it's important to remember that both ideas are true. We need to be humble. The Rambam says that we need to be extremely humble. There's no place for any ego or any haughtiness. From the other hand, what is the concept of chosen nation? Chosen doesn't mean that I am superior over someone else. It means that I have a different mission, or I have a big responsibility on my shoulders to be a light to the nations, to be a light to the people around me. And that, when I realize that I have this responsibility, it actually makes me more humble because I realize that a bigger responsibility was put on me. So I could feel proud and comfortable with the responsibility put on me, but at the same time, I don't feel superior and I feel humble by knowing that if someone else would have had this responsibility, maybe they would have done a lot better job than me.
It's funny, it reminds me of a story. Rabbi Kaplan from Chabad Flamingo, he was hosted on a radio show. So the host asked him, what is it with you Jews always, being proud of who you are, the Jewish pride? Maybe you should be such a, proud Canadian. So Rabbi Kaplan, we all are. Rabbi Kaplan told the radio host, you know what I did this morning to get here? I got up in the morning, the first thing I did, I said, Moidani. I washed my hands. I needed to go daven before blessing, after blessing, I ate. There's so many interactions with my Judaism identity, with who I am, my Jewishness. He asked the radio host, no, what did you do for, you said you're a proud Canadian. What did you do for your Canadian pride? Radio host was quiet. Being proud of who we are is not a status. It's a job, it's a responsibility, it's a mandate. And the more specific to know who you are and what's your responsibility, the more detail-oriented. I'm talking about teens. For example, action, just do it, mitzvot. And as we said earlier on, volunteering, tikkun olam, helping others. The more we do it, the more we act it, and the more we know what it is, the more of a responsibility we have. It's not a status, it's a job. It's a proud, the Jewish pride is a big responsibility. It comes with a big burden, but it's big merits.
It gets back to the same point we talked about earlier, that giving teams responsibility, that's how they grow. And that's really what it means to be chosen.
Right.
There's a confidence that comes along with it. There's a confidence that comes along with this, knowing that I'm not doing my thing, right? If I'm chosen, it means there's one who chose me and chose me for something. So there's a humility in knowing that it's not as if I earned being Jewish.
Right.
I didn't earn it. I was born this way by God's choice. I was chosen to fulfill this role. That means that I am given all the capacity to fill that role. Otherwise, God wouldn't put me in that position if he couldn't think I could fill that role. So there's humility there in accepting this role that comes along with a paradoxical confidence in being able to fulfill that role. Right? And this gets us to our next topic, which is how do teens deal with anti-Semitism, especially teens that are in non-Jewish schools, whom we meet all the time. And this is a thing that I know I get it, I'm sure you guys get it all the time. How do I deal with anti-Semitism in school? And especially when they're going to college. And we know that that's a struggle for teens and students there. So how does a team deal with that? And we'll throw into the mix also, I guess because they're really related, is the anti-Israel issue. Because they're really very much related.
Right.
Do you want to start us off this one?
Yeah. Number one, when it comes to arguments, when it comes to hate, it's the hater's issue. It's the hater's issue that he hates you. Nevertheless, you got to make sure that no one should hate you. But arguments, demonstrations, negative interactions just aggravates both sides. I remember I listened to the Rebbe saying at Fabrengen that those demonstrations, what they do is they make their organization that's demonstrating famous, but action, no results come from it. And I know it's hard to hear that because the first instinct that comes to a person is fight back and my rights. But you know what? You got to be the greater person. And as we said before, with a greater mission, and know and understand that by you being a role model, by you being a bit more elevated and not interacting with those arguments and demonstrations, people are going to look up to you. People are going to respect you. Nonetheless, I think that if, God forbid, there's a situation that has to be reported, you got to report it. You can't be in danger. I'm not saying you should walk around and your hand should be behind your back. But that should not be the path of fighting with anti-Semitism.
There's an interesting element to that. you said at the beginning, it's the hater's issue. I like that. Because it's not as if the person hating you is being rational. And if you came with a rational counter argument, they're going to stop hating you.
Exactly.
It's not a rational thing. So don't get yourself into the mud of dealing with the rational answers and all the responses. It's not going to get you anywhere, right? That's the expression. If you struggle with someone who's dirty, you'll get dirty too.
Right.
You're taking yourself down. You're just aggravating it.
Mm-hmm.
And just before we get there, just one more element about this is that, especially in public, when you call somebody out in public, then you're forcing that person to defend their position.
Right.
Because now in public, they were called that way, so they're
not going to give up.
They're not going to give up now. I'm not going to say, oh, I was wrong, I'm changing my ways. Now they're going to be like, no, what I really meant is this and it. And, so if you did feel like the person who behaved this way was being rational, wasn't doing that out of hatred, and you wanted to argue the point, do it privately. You'll have a much better success rate than doing it publicly, because then you force the person to stick to their position and keep on pushing back. And again, you aggravate the whole thing.
Something to add, something small. I think there's two ideas here. One that sometimes works is originally you're going into a teenager going from a Jewish school, let's say, to a CJET. From the beginning, they could show a lot of love to people around them, tell people good morning, ask people, how are you? Just be respectful to people around you, and you could change how people view us. Especially when you're coming with your clique of friends. I'm not saying to leave your clique of friends, but just be respectful to people around you could help change the way people view Jews in a very strong way.
Back to that responsibility of you represent all Jewish people. You have to make a kiddush Hashem. You have to, when you behave, not God forbid that we're blaming a Jew for anti-Semitism. Yeah. Anti-Semitism is anti-Semitism, and that's very issue, like you said. Yeah. But at the same time, you carry the responsibility of representing what it means to be a Jew, and in your interactions of just good mornings and hellos, make a big impact in changing that perception.
Number two is when the teenager, or us, when we feel proud of what we're doing and confident about what we're doing, we have a clarity of what we're doing and we're confident about it, and the people around us feel it, it also helps bringing down the hate or being called out or being called names or bullied. When people say you're confident, then it takes it down a little bit, the tension. Sometimes there's just hate for hate, and that we can't help, but sometimes there's hate because people are looking at you that you're weak and you're embarrassed for being who you are. But if you show you're not embarrassed and you're comfortable with it, people are going to respect you for it.
It's kind of how you deal with a bully in general.
Yeah.
It's interesting, beautiful story. And one of our alumni, one of our students was teen students very involved with us. Actually, he went to study in Cornell, and he came up with a great concept. And today it's in many universities around the world. He's actually in every continent. He wanted to match up students, the best students in Cornell, as it is Cornell, Ivy League school. The best students in Cornell, he matched up with Israeli startup guys who became very, very successful. It's a mentorship program, and kudos to him, Adam Shapiro. And it's an unbelievable organization run by students. They're in tens of campuses around the world. And what they did was, instead of arguing and having, it's for non-Jews are going to argue, they just click them, they just match them with successful Israelis who have good values, who believe in helping others, who believe in their ethics. And it's unbelievable. They're planning in the next few months, with everything that's going on, a trip of 50 non-Jews to Israel to show them, to expose them.
Just display confident positivity.
Exactly.
You display confident positivity, it's contagious. It spreads, people look up to it, people like it, people respond to it, and it just dissipates the whole...
Yeah, they're like, don't waste my time with anything else, this has to do with actually being successful and having an impact in the world.
Before we get to the next section, I want to add something to this, and if we can be slightly controversial, is I had this discussion once with a group that deals with helping teens and students with words how to answer questions on Israel. And they wanted to partner with us and do some programs, which we did. We worked together on some stuff. But in my initial conversation with this representative, I challenged her. Why should they even care to defend Israel is a much bigger question than how to defend Israel, right? how to defend Israel, again, you're getting into the mud about this argument and that argument and the settlements and this and that. Not everybody knows all the stats and figures, and the person you're arguing with might know better than you. And besides, as I said before, they don't do with the logic and the rationale, it's just the pure hatred.
Right.
So, getting into that isn't necessarily, the right strategy. The better strategy is building confidence that you have in being a Jew, which will automatically build the confidence and the belief in the rationale and the right for Israel to exist, and automatically it rubs off on everybody around it. Not as because they're arguing with it, but because you're just displaying a natural confidence and positivity that we're talking about earlier.
On that note, it's important that the teenager also educates themselves. And then when they question, they know what to answer.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so to wrap up the last couple of minutes that we have here, how can teen apply Judaism in a day-to-day life? Not just when they go to synagogue, not just Shabbat dinners at home, day-to-day life, going to school, coming out. How do we bring Judaism into their world? How do we make it important to them? Do you want to go for it?
Levi, go for it.
Okay. So number one is, not only do we have to keep Judaism out of the home, when we become a teenager and older, a student, it becomes difficult to keep Judaism even in the home.
Right.
Right.
So first is that we have to keep something in ourselves strong. We take on ourselves a small mitzvah, something which we can hold on, and we keep to it. We take something small, we hold on it strongly. And then realizing that Judaism is not only at home, Judaism is not only in synagogue, Judaism affects everything in our life, everything, the way we talk, the way we speak, the way we eat. For example, you're in school and you put on a kippah while you eat and make a bracha, that's bringing Judaism to your school, bringing Judaism into somewhere else out of home. Even with the way, not only students, people go to business, they have to do business like a Jew, making sure they're being honest in their business. So there's, number one is keeping something tight yourself, having something that in home and out of home you keep, and then taking something that you can bring out, do something Jewish out of the home too. And it connects with everything we said before. Not to be embarrassed. You're sitting in the airport. Go ahead, put on your kippah and make a bracha. You need to put on tefillin. Go put on tefillin. You need to anything Jewish that there is. Don't be embarrassed and go do it, even if it's not at home and not in the synagogue.
It's funny. We had a guest lecture here a couple of years ago, who's really a veteran of the IDF, and it's a whole story. His grandfather was a Holocaust survivor, and that's what motivated him to go to the army. And he did one small session with the teens, and he told them that never again means pick something in your life that you don't let somebody there who hates you take away from you. Whatever that thing is, don't let somebody else say you can't do it. That's going to be never again. You walk in school with a kippah, that's going to be the thing I do. No one's going to tell me. I'm wearing my Magen David out, somebody sees it, no one's going to tell me no. Right? You take that one thing, make it yours, own it, and don't let anybody else tell you that you can't or could or shouldn't. You want to close this off?
So, both Rabbi Levis, you both touched upon it, about choosing that mitzvah. It's mentioned a lot in the holy books, the gate, that's the shar, that from that little mitzvah, you view all Torah mitzvahs. So hold on tight to that mitzvah, but celebrate the mitzvah. Personally, I would love to add a few more days to the calendar that Jews must attend synagogue. I don't want to say anything too controversial here, but I want to add on days. Simchas Torah, Purim, Yiddishkeit is so beautiful. It's so celebrated. It's not about fighting with yourself. You look at stories of Hasidim and you see every story is like, you think they had like different passions and they served God different than the other. But in essence, it was all the same. They served Hashem with their style of serving Hashem. For sure, guidelines of Torah mitzvahs. But that's what made their Torah mitzvahs and their path in Yiddishkeit and Judaism so unique, that they really owned it. Exactly, it was their personal thing. You see this guy dunning on a tractor, and this guy in synagogue praying, and every person had his way of connecting. But the punchline was they celebrated in a very deep way of a way to connect to Hashem. And One more thing, one more tip, advice. You should have someone, a mentor, a salcharav, someone who can guide you and direct you and help you with this conflict. There's a huge conflict out there. The world, Yiddishkeit, my family, my tradition, how do I own it? It's very challenging in mixing everything up together. Have someone that you feel comfortable in talking to. So here we are, Rabbi Levi, Raskin, Rabbi Levi Nu, Rabbi Ariel Stern. We're available 24/7 at all times to help and to guide you how to resolve this conflict that's really not a conflict.
We're here ready to listen also, if you need to talk. So thank you. So I think
I'm gonna add one more thing,
Yeah.
that besides having a mentor while I was a teenager, which will help me tremendously, was also my connection to the Rebbe. You know, knowing that we believe in tzaddikim, especially a Rebbe, and knowing that I could ask for blessings, for guidance, for clarity. I could go to the Rebbe's OL and write to the Rebbe and ask. You know, a lot of times we're not clear what path to take. And, you know, when we write to the Rebbe, we know we're writing to a tzaddik. The tzaddik answers and brings clarity to us. That, for my teenager years, was very helpful. Besides, having a mentor was extremely helpful, and having a Rebbe that I was able to write to and turn to was also something very helpful. And the Rebbe is not only for Chassidim, it's for every Jew in the whole world could turn to the Rebbe.
And as teens would say, l'chaim, water, right?
L'chaim.
Water, l'chaim.
on that note, I want to remind everybody that today is Gimmel Tammuz, the 26th anniversary of passing of the Rebbe that you're speaking of. Take the opportunity to write a note to the Rebbe's Ohel. You can do so at ohel@ohelchabad.org. Put your name in, your family's name, write what's on your heart, ask for the clarity in the matters and the things you need, ask for blessings in the area of your life that you need for, and the things you don't even know you need for. And with Hashem's help, everything will be answered and all will be good for all of Israel. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.